Hey, great Monday evening. It is a beautiful evening in the city of Brownsville, a beautiful city in Cameron County in Paloma. The only reason we signed on when we did Paloma is because I saw your message out there that you're ready. Paloma, if you're ready, we're ready. It's great to see you, Paloma. Thank you for being here. And Kirina, buenas, ¿cómo estás? And Al, my man. Let's go into it with our friend Carlos. Yes. Let's see. Good evening, Belinda. How you doing? It's good to have you on tonight. And we'll slowly start to see everyone trickle in. Joe, my man. How you doing, bro? Good to see you. Ana Delia, buenas noches. ¿Cómo estás? Para que veas, me puse corbata, Ana Delia, nomás porque tú me dijiste. And good evening, Leo. Say hi to Josh for me. God bless. Hello, Hilda, hermosa, San Benito. In the house. Nancy, ¿cómo estás? Hola, Jason, my man. I love this guy. This guy is amazing, talented, artistic, and a little bit handsome. Not as handsome as me, but you're pretty much getting close up there, Jason. Good evening, Martita, hermosa. ¿Cómo estás? Saludos, güero Huicho. And buenas tardes, Flor Hermosa. Good evening, Paul. Guys, I'm going to stop right there because it's too many. Hey, Doreen, let your husband back inside. And of course, and yes, hi, Carlos. And we do have the honor of having former Secretary of State of this amazing state of Texas, Carlos Cascos. Carlos, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. I was going to take a nap. You ended your saludos to everyone. But go ahead. I'm good. Thank you for having me on today.
No, thank you. It is an honor. And again, I've known each other for a while. Have run side by side in a couple of campaigns out there at different races. And it's always been an honor. And it's an honor to be on this side on this time and, talk a little bit about what's going on around us. So thanks for being here, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And I hope it's not the last time we can share our thoughts.
Oh, no. Please. Always remember, Mary Lou. I'll get, todavía me estás pendiente con la carne asada, Mary Lou. Frankie, how you doing, Frankie?
How's it going, Erasmo? Good evening, Mr. Cascos. Hello, world. It's a great Monday evening. Super excited for today's show. We have Mr. Carlos Cascos, who has, who's been at the state and county level. So it's great to have our friends here to talk about a little bit what's going on with all this uncertainty with this COVID-19 and especially going on in Cameron County. So I'm super excited for tonight's show more than ever. So thank you for having me, Erasmo.
No, thank you also very much. And let's go into saludos, Josué. ¿Cómo estás? Let's go into the numbers very quick. We still have yet to hear numbers in regards to Cameron County, but what we've heard so far, they're not going to be on the pretty side. We did receive numbers for Hidalgo County, which we posted up there. Hidalgo County has 193. That's 1, 9, and 3. I think that's the number 3. 193 positives in Hidalgo County. And again, can be due to the, immense testing that's going on. But 193 is horrible. Plus, is it 1 death or 2 deaths, Frankie?
One death. One death, an elderly man from the city of FAR.
It's a very, very sad situation. And again, we had predicted, received, some predictions that Cameron County was going to be in the hundreds, but we'll be waiting out to see their numbers. And the numbers are very telling for many, many reasons. But again, we'll go into them slowly. Again, we don't have a lot of confirmed numbers for Cameron County, but, we'll talk about what we know. One of the things that we do know is that there were a couple of press conferences today. Did y'all have a chance to see the press conferences, Mr. Cascos, Frankie?
No, yes. I mean, I was working.
Oh, work. What is that?
You know what that is.
Miss you guys yesterday.
I'm an essential business.
I love you, Erasmo. Love you too, mi amorcito. Good evening, each of you gentlemen. Good evening, Aurora Hermosa. ¿Cómo estás? Hello. The governor did have a press conference today, and basically, there wasn't much on there. A lot of individuals were asking the same questions that, in regards to a lot of the different cities up there that had, basically stated that they were going to, enforce some type of mandate in regards to face coverings. Again, the governors did a little bit of a two-little step, maybe, going a little bit backwards and saying like, well, I never said that you all couldn't go out there and enforce face coverings for small business. And I go like, well, you didn't say that we could. when the governor was asked in regards to the face coverings, he said no one can be fined for not wearing face coverings. And that was what he said. So everyone took it, county, the cities, throughout the state of Texas, and not just ours. They took it to mean that, they couldn't enforce any face covering citations or fines or anything of the sort. Carlos, what is your take on it, on the face coverings?
Well, you're right. I think there was the Texas two-step, so to speak. I think the governor's position was he never said that businesses could not mandate face masks. If anybody that keeps up with me on Facebook, on my page, I think back in early to mid-May, I suggested, and I've suggested some of the leadership in the town, that you can require businesses to ask for face masks. You may not be able to enforce individuals, and I understand that, freedoms and all this that go around, but there's nothing to prevent a business from requiring a face mask. We've all seen the sign, no shoes, no shirt. Well, take it a step further, no shoes, no shirt, no mask, no service. And that's the way I think it should be. I believe that shutting down the economy and the country and the state for the time that it did was not appropriate. I'm going to get some flack for it. But look, guys, there's just here locally, we've got thousands of unemployed people, 32 million across the country. I think that should they have shut down for maybe 2 to 3 weeks to allow hospitals to catch up and kind of take care of it? Yes, but to completely shut down the economy for 2 months, it was, to me, in my opinion, was really not needed. I kind of like the curfew. My neighborhood's a lot quieter, and some people say no. But I used to tell my daughters that nothing good happens after midnight. So I was hoping that they would keep that up. But for now, we're going to have to look. Everyone, I told you all before we went on the air, everyone needs to take personal responsibility, for this, whether it's I don't know why they call it social distancing. I call it, I think a lot of people are starting to change it and call it physical distancing. And I think that's a more appropriate term. That wearing the mask when you go out in public, this does not mean that you wear a mask when you're at home or you're in your car with your family members. It just means when you're out in public, be courteous to others. And hopefully, I walked the mall today. And today there was probably about 95% of the people I saw were wearing masks. On Friday, it was closer to 60% of the people wearing masks. So the message is getting out there. This virus is going to be with us for a long, long time. I don't believe it's going to go away. But look, back in the 50s, y'all may not be old enough to remember, but there was a virus that killed over 116,000 people in this country alone. And then a couple of decades later, there was another virus that killed, that 100,000 people died. We were caught flat-footed, not only locally, but statewide in the country. We were caught flat-footed, and we're prepared for a pandemic. Although there was a lot of folks that were talking about preparing for a pandemic. Remember the Hong Kong flu. Remember the Zika virus. Remember the dengue fever. Remember H1N1, which wasn't too long ago. But never in my recollection were we ever forced to shut down businesses. And somebody made a decision as to what an essential business is. Tell those 32 million people that are out of a job that where they work, their business was not essential. Every business is an essential business, especially to the employees of that business.
100%. Now, Carla, just to clarify, they always recommend wearing face masks even after the restrictions were lifted and they were started reopening the business. They did make their recommendations, but the recommendations have always been in place. I think the thing that they sort of laxed off or stepped back on was in regards to being able to fine. Again, when you give open power to the counties and to the cities, you expect them to start making some ordinances and mandates that actually make sense or somewhat want to comply with what the governor was saying. Now, if the governor was kind of upset back then in regards to it, then, maybe we should have gone into the phases where they said absolutely no fines for individuals out there. But again, I understand what you're saying. He backpedaled a lot on his initial 100%.
Yeah, I think we have to. I think what we have to do is keep the look. we have to recognize that this is not a one size fits all fit. What may work in Travis and Bear and Eagle Pass may not work in Brownsville or Cameron County. I believe they should have left it up to local officials to make that call. It's like trying to maintain 25%, 50% occupancy in bars and restaurants. We don't have enough law enforcement to enforce that unless you have a police officer at every cantina and La Catorce and all the bars and there with a clicker who comes comes out. HEB was doing it, Sam's was doing it. Maybe it's a little bit easier there. But I don't think that we should be implementing rules if we can't logistically enforce them. Fines, again, you got people unemployed, and I do believe that a mask is better than nothing. But I maintained a month ago, before everybody started talking about having businesses do it, let businesses enforce that, because they can do it. They can decide who comes into their stores or not. Yeah. And as long as they apply the rule equally to everyone and it's not discriminatory, you can do it.
Yeah, they can refuse service to anyone that they want. I mean, it wasn't. I see that's what we were on the same page, Carlos, in regards to it. And before I go, Diego, good evening, Diego.
Mr. Cascos, in regards to Austin, Texas, we recently got word that Austin, Texas did have a shelter in place. Could you tell us your thoughts in regards to the governor taking away the counties and the mayor's authority for shelter in place? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'm really not sure. I mentioned earlier that a one size cannot fit all, and we have a very, very transient population in South Texas. We have a lot of people that have to travel to, a lot of people work in Willacy and Hidalgo that live in Cameron and vice versa. But I think that it's important that we all do what we need to do to take care of things. Okay. As far as, I'm not privy to all the information that everybody has out there, and I'm not trying to speak out of turn or be critical. I would have done things a little bit differently. I would have said, Governor, and I know the governor well, as you all know. I said, look, we're not going to do this. I'm going to do A, B, C, and D. And if you want to sue me, go right ahead. But no one's going to get sued. I think he did what he thought he needed to do. People were calling him out to do this statewide. And again, I think that the control should have been left at the local level, and not had local officials acquiesce so quickly to what was for by the leadership in Austin.
100%. In Los Fresnos, they're doing testing for COVID with saliva instead of the normal way through the nose, and they were charging $100 per person. Let me tell you, some other places were charging $75. I think it's a little bit excessive. Is that correct, or should it be free? Maggie, as of right now, the only free testing that's being done is in Brownsville, and the Army that's come down and doing some testing through that TexasCovidTest.org or btxcares.com. Those are the only ones that have announced that they're doing free testing. I'm not aware of anyone doing it in Hidalgo County. Any of those other ones that set themselves up, those are a cobrar. So, if they charge $100, they were charging $75 in Edinburgh or Weslaco. But again, it's what it is right now. And again, one of the things that is very telling is that they've lowered the amount of testing that they're going to do per day. If I'm not mistaken, I think here in Brownsville, we're only going to do 125 per day, and that's about it. But testing has been an issue. Carlos, are you in favor of more testing, less testing, or testing with discount? Who's responsible ultimately for testing?
Well, in terms of responsibility, whether I think the more people, and this doesn't take a rocket science to figure this out. Okay, the more people that get tested, the more positive and negative cases are going to be are going to result of it. So I think we do need to test. But I heard a doctor early on that said that everybody in this country at some point is going to get this virus. Some are going to react differently. Some are going to, some may be asymptomatic. Some, may have some really serious complications, leading to death. And that I mean, that's going to happen, and so I think it's important that we do test as many as we can. So that's number one. Number two, should we charge or not? Okay. And I don't think it's fair. Yeah, they're going to charge everybody or nobody. And I prefer that you need to give people the incentive and the willingness and the ability to go and get tested without having to pay 75, $100. You have a family of four, and that's going to be over $300, to get tested.
Especially
so
right now.
The more tests, the better. I mean, there's a lot of stimulus money that is coming down. Everybody needs to play their part. Now, when we start talking about other initiatives such as some of these PPP loans that businesses are getting, I think the county should have set up free tax advice and free tax returns. The county or the city should have set up free advice as to how to set up these PPP loans. I did several of them for clients, and I didn't charge them for it. This doesn't mean everybody come at my door tomorrow and I'm gonna do them for you, but I will. If someone's in need and they can't afford it, I'm more than happy to help them out.
Well, we actually did the same with individuals. We offered assistance in regards to filing for the PPP, and again, a lot of I know Michael, one of our friends, very, very close friends, he managed to get more than $1 million for a lot of the small businesses down here, which is very, very impressive. $2 million for a lot of the business down here. And I think that's very impressive. But I guess that's when, when there's a void in leadership, that is when we, the citizens of the community, need to step forward. And again, I agree with you 100%. One of the other things that we call the city out on, and again, this is just us, and, doesn't reflect your ideas, sir. But one of the things that we did call the city on was that, they were having these individuals go out there, and again, all for it, passing out these little bags and little pamphlets in regards to stuff. And I'm going like, goodness gracious, guys, go out there and set up tables and go help small business and, invite small business to come and fill out those forms for them. I mean, we as a community as a whole are going to majorly suffer if small business suffers. We're not only going to suffer in regards to the businesses, but we as members of the community as well. And it was going to be money that was going to come in from the federal government that we know could be thrown back into the city's coffers in the revenue. Pero nada. Too many people are responsible.
So let me say, for many of you all know that I do walk at the mall on a regular basis, and you've always got blood drives. You've always got all these initiatives out there, trying to bring people in. You've got tax free tax help. We can do that, or we should have done that and provided that assistance. As far as having mandatory masks, they're nice. I don't agree with it. It's hard to enforce. But I think that, Liz Valdez made a comment, I said early on, people need to take responsibility. They need to be responsible. Someone asked about the schools being open. I think they're going to go through with it. I hope that logistically they can do it. So they have having 25 students per room. They may only have 10. It's going to be tough. I don't know if we have the physical plants, the infrastructure at every school, to be able to do that. And then what about those folks that are very, very humble, very, very poor, indigent? Can they afford to provide masks to their little ones? A different mask every day. That we have to think logistically. We have to think outside the box. And we've learned a lot from this pandemic, and I hope that one thing that we have learned is that we don't have knee-jerk reactions. I think that the stimulus money that was given out to a lot of people, many people got it that didn't lose their jobs, working. I gave an example. If someone has $5 million in cash in the bank and they're not working, and that is their only source of income, a married couple filing jointly would have gotten a stimulus check.
Yeah,
with $5 million in the bank. Okay, and so I think it was not thought of very well, quick. Something to hurry up and appease. Most people I believe deserved it, but there were many that maybe they met the income stream, but they didn't need it. Okay, and I saw that firsthand with and it wasn't me by any means, but But I think it's important, to know that with the second round coming, people were spending it like crazy. Some were, it just that was not the intent, to go out and go to Dillard's and buy fancy purses and fancy shoes and suits with the stimulus money.
Would you say that it is the responsibility of Cameron County to implement this and use all of its resources to target businesses, or would you is the responsibility of each and every city to help their local entrepreneurs and businesses?
Well, I think one thing that we shouldn't be playing Peter against. I think that the county and all the municipalities and also the unincorporated areas, keep in mind that the cities can manage their own affairs. They have ordinance making ability. They can do a lot of things that counties cannot do. Counties really should be focusing in the outside of city, those areas that are not incorporated. I don't know how many. Cameron Park alone is probably 12 to 15,000 people in that area that probably need as much help as anybody else does. But I think that working hand in hand, with the cities. What I heard, that the county was upset because the city of Brownsville was kind of doing their own thing and testing. Instead of giving them opposition, they say, "Tell me how we can help, and tell me where you need our help." And do that. I think we need to be more of a cohesive unit. And I think that the 4 county judges getting together was a good idea. We always talk about working as a region all the time. Well, I believe that they're trying to do this here locally, working as a region, and I do commend them for getting together. But I get concerned when Cameron is not the largest county in the valley, and it's got more deaths than all the other counties combined. I don't know. I'm a little concerned. I know that a lot of them are focused into the adult area, the nursing homes, etc. But nonetheless, it's something that we need to look at and start preparing for the next one.
Well, the problem is
it's not going to cure this.
I think the problem is failed leadership. I mean, we've had failed leadership, from the start of this pandemic. And I say that, with all due respect. I mean, I was very appreciative of, the county judge coming out, informing individuals of a lot of the different mandates. And I thought that was very, very commendable. All of a sudden, when they started to slow back down in regards to producing the information that we needed, I thought it was very, very irresponsible. And again, let me in regards to Texas, not a fits all state, different counties, different cases. It's 100% right. You cannot take what the governor says as this is going to fit for a Brownsville, Texas. It is impossible. It is irresponsible. A lot of what the governor stated, as well as a lot of what TEA has stated, are recommendations. You do not necessarily have to imply them to the county. You do not necessarily have to imply them to the city of Brownsville. One of the things that came out early on in this pandemic was we found out that Harlingen was going to explode in regards to the nursing home situation. And part of the problem, and I say failed leadership, is because anyone who would have actually researched well what was going on, not only in New York City, but also throughout the world in regards to the pandemic, would have realized that a nursing home coming out with a positive was going to be a major mega disaster. We did nothing. And if we did something, it was too quiet in the sense that no dijeron nada, nothing. They try to keep it under the rug. And an ill-informed community is going to be an irresponsible community. Because let me tell you, Carlos, one of the issues that I have with Cameron County is that someone passes away from the coronavirus, and we don't get informed till another week and a half later, 2 weeks in some cases. We had a 21-year-old that passed away on Sunday. A 21-year-old. I mean, that should be cause for alarm for all the 20-year-olds that are out there bar hopping back and forth. But because they don't hear from it from the news media, they're not hearing it from leadership in regards to, guys, this is real. You've got to take care. I mean, because they're not hearing it, a lot of people are not believing it. And they'll still say, "Hombre, shut up. It's not true." And I'm going like, guys, it's true. We've talked to the family. The family, needs some help in regards to, to gathering funds y lo que ustedes quieran. But a 21-year-old passed away. An infant, a newborn, passed away on Thursday. Nothing. And look,
Well,
and I
one thing,
before
that
I pass it on, and when I get a lot of crap. Believe it or not, I get slammed a lot. They're like, oh, I just go, hey man, and I've told the superintendent, and I've told the county,
that's
and
hard to believe.
I've told them. I said, guys, you know what? Don't let people come to me for information. Don't let them come for me for information. Let them go to you. But when you all are silent, guess who they're going to come to? They're going to come to Papa. Carlos.
Yeah, I think I don't know if we were on the air already, but no one wants to be the bearer of bad news, but we should be the bearer of accurate news,
Exactly,
and timely news. The one thing I did not like was early on. Well, we're going to close for 2 weeks, and another 2 weeks, and another 2 weeks, and another 2 weeks. That didn't allow people the opportunity to plan ahead. And I think, I would have said, look, we're going to be closed for 30 days. And if we get to open up before, fine. If we don't, then off we go. But I would not have closed and shelter in place. Said, well, can you imagine how many more people would have gotten sick? Well, we're seeing it now.
yes.
All we did was defer the problem for you tell me what is different today than it was a month and a half ago. It's worse.
It is worse.
Okay. And so all we did was defer. I'm going to get some back for everybody. Well, let's close and close and close. But it's for those of y'all that are watching and have been in place for 60 days. Yeah, I mean, I don't know where crime was, but I can tell you that what I've heard from law enforcement, there was more domestic violence. There was more, child abuse cases. There was more, people get frustrated. Unfortunately, it was not a good situation. But I think closing down for the amount of time that we had was just too much. I think, I would never have shut down if the governor said we're going to close down for 8 weeks. I said, you know what? The Cameron County is going to take it the way we believe it should be taken, and if it goes against the governor, great. That's the way it is. But that's all we can do.
Can you give us an insight, Mr. Cascos, into the Cameron County Public Health's either protocol? Because as how Erasmo has mentioned earlier, there has been a delay in the reporting of numbers. Recently, we have heard from different sources that Fox Hollow, one of the nursing homes here locally in Brownsville, has seen a large increase of patients and employees get this COVID virus. Could you tell us a little bit about the Cameron County Public Health and their protocols in assessing these types of situations?
Well, I wish I could. This is a first. I mean, I was county judge when we had the H1N1 virus. It wasn't too long ago, and we had different protocols. I mean, we did exactly what we were doing. We didn't shut anybody down. We didn't do shelter in place. We didn't have curfews, and that was supposed to be a really, really bad pandemic. Dr. Castillo, who's the health authority for Cameron County, is a good guy. I know him. I met him. As a matter of fact, I believe he became our health authority when I was county judge. I think he's doing a fair job. Not better than that. I think he's doing a good job. But this is all very new to a lot of people, and I've been very hesitant to criticize anybody or anything. I'm just saying, look, I would have done things a little bit different. The ultimate end game probably would have been the same. I don't know. I can just tell you, based on what I've heard from folks, I would not have had a press conference every single day. That you get fatigued, saying the same thing, reading the same thing. Press releases are fine if you want to do. If there's new information, that is fine to do. But doing press conferences every day, I mean, I didn't agree with them. I didn't watch them because it was over again. But I just think that it's important that we all band together as a community. support our local officials. Now, one thing that we have not talked about is, guess what season we're in? Hurricane season.
Hurricane's coming.
Hurricane season. And I posted this on my Facebook page. Hurricane season coming up. So for those people that are watching, there's no threat right now. But when you have a chance to go to the grocery store, buy yourself a couple of cans of canned goods. Start preparing little by little, just in case, because it's supposed to be a very active hurricane season. And if we're still in the middle of this pandemic, and then have like a Hurricane Dolly that flooded, the western Hidalgo County, a little bit of Cameron, the La Feria, Santa Rosa area, we're going to be in a world of hurt if we're not prepared.
A shout out to your brother Eduardo. Congratulations to Emma Leilani. Many more children to you all. Congratulations, guys.
Mr. Cascos, in regards to flooding, very quickly, recently, Judge Eddie Trevino got some bad press from Santa Rosa, Harlingen, La Feria area. What should the county be doing in assessing or trying to help out those residents, since you are mentioning that we are in hurricane season? I have not heard anything as of yet, but what would you do, or what would you advise somebody in that leadership role?
Well, when Hurricane Dolly came in 2008, it flooded that Teocano area that is between La Feria and Santa Rosa. First of all, we need to acknowledge that Teocano area is a lake. It was a lake. People built on it. They were given permits to build in a floodplain. And that highway, I believe, is 506 maybe, or 106, that goes from La Feria to Santa Rosa. I think it's 106, was underwater. So what happened subsequent to Hurricane Dolly, I worked with TxDOT. They raised that road. They raised it so that you could travel with it. It didn't get flooded, but really nothing was really done with the sides of the roads. I mean, they still flooded. That's going to require a large investment. It's going to require a lot of drainage work, and I don't believe the county has the money to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have that problem in a lot of areas. Back when these colonias were built, the subdivision rules were not in place. Unscrupulous developers, developed lots. They would sell them on a contract for deed for $1 down, $50 a month with no infrastructure. And those developers are long gone. So the county and the state has had to pick up the tabs. When I was county judge, I had a lot of developers upset with me, and they were upset with me every time I ran. I kind of pushed the envelope and said, guys, you need to provide letters of credit for septic tanks. When you're going to build a subdivision, you got to provide septic tanks. And well, we can't till we sell the lot. Put up a letter of credit of $3,500, and many of them did, and they got upset with me, but I think at the end of the day, it was better for the consumer.
Well, one of the other things that we're going through at this time, and I guess everyone is feeling, is just the anxiety of a lot of the confusion is going on with the different types of mandates going back and forth. One of the questions was asked, and again, we'll go in a very general sense because there's a lot of schools out there. We do have ideas. Harmony. One of the big concerns is, kids returning back to school. I think there's been a little bit of confusion in regards to what the governor has said, what TEA has said, and what different districts have, already started to imply. One of the things that they've come out to say was that, kids are going to come back to school in the fall. They're going to come back to school in August. Not only that, kids are going to not necessarily they won't have to wear face coverings, face masks, or will teachers? I mean, do you have any opinion in regards to schools, kids going back to school? I mean, any school district in fall, or the mandate of no face mask while at school?
Well, I will tell you that I know what TEA is doing. I know what's been said. I think masks should be required in schools. I think that to not mandate that is going to be a huge problem. I think you're going to have, and especially if you have a lot of kids that live in some of our rural communities, how are you going to get kids to school? How many buses does it take to take kids to school? How are you going to be able to put, 10, 15 kids on a school bus when they normally carry 30 or 40? So that's got to be addressed. And, in terms, I don't think anyone has thought about that. They may have to, split up a school day, and maybe that's how they're gonna be able to do it. I went to Brownsville High School, class of 70. And when I first went to that, we had a split session. It was one high school back then, one public high school. And, juniors and seniors went from, I think, 7:30 a.m. to 12:30. And then freshmen and sophomores came in from, 1 to 4:30, 1 to 5. They may have to do this here, split them up. I don't believe we've got the infrastructure in terms of physical buildings to be able to accommodate 45, 46,000 students. And then, I don't think we have enough buses in order, to accommodate and get kids to school. We're going to have to do a lot of thinking outside the box here, and everyone's going to have to make adjustments. Some they're going to like, some they're not going to like. But we have to do with what we've got.
I think one of the things that we have been mentioning, and again, the school districts throughout the whole state of Texas have been talking about, Harlingen especially. Harlingen has already come out and suggested that they're going to go into a hybrid system where students are going to have the option of staying at home and doing basically a lot of stuff that they're doing already in regards to distant learning. But of course, now that they've had some time, Harlingen has had the opportunity to kind of tweak it here or there to sort of try and perfect it, which I think is going to be one of the better options for a lot of the parents out there. It won't be the better option for all the parents out there, but it'll be a good option for a lot of the individuals out there. It is impossible. If you're going to have 6 feet in between children in the classroom, it will be impossible to pack the classrooms with 23 students. Or 24 students. Impossible. You're going to have no more than 10 students in each classroom. Having more than 10 students in each classroom will probably go against the CDC guidelines and also TEA and the state governor's task force recommendations as well. With that said, one of the things that you mentioned, Carlos, I think I agree with. I think I've actually mentioned it here a couple of times because I'm not as old to have gone or had the opportunity to go to Brownsville High School, but I do remember a school in Mexico. And school in Mexico, we had some kids come in to 8 to 4. I'm sorry, 8 to 12, and then some kids come 1 to 5 in the afternoon. And that way you were using the same facility that separating the kids that way. That was done because there were fewer schools. Brownsville was very fortunate to have a lot of schools. Harlingen has a lot of schools as well. But with that said, split schedule is an option that should be discussed. And do you think Papi Trump will send another stimulus check? Yes, I think Papi Trump has actually said today that he is very much in favor of the second stimulus money's coming out, and he did mention that it would be substantial. The one thing that he did not mention was how soon they were going to move on it in regards to passing it to the House. Second stimulus check, Carlos, yay or nay?
I wish we had an opportunity to scrutinize who would be getting the stimulus checks. I think they should go to those people that are unemployed. First off, there's 30 million plus right now that are unemployed. But again, I think they're going to do just, throw it out to everybody. Whomever's got an adjusted gross income of less than X amount of dollars is going to get it, regardless of what their assets are. As I mentioned, the $5 million in the bank, paid for house, investments everywhere, but yet they got a stimulus check. I wish that they would do a better job of scrutinizing who's going to get the money. There's a lot of well-deserved people that do need it and are entitled to it, but people I know have gotten it that were not entitled to it, but they got it. What can you do?
I agree 100%. Now, one of the things that I guess individuals are asking is in regards to the check, because it is concerning. One of the things that has suffered greatly, is that a lot of individuals have filed for unemployment throughout the country. And again, we already were at one of the highest unemployment rates here in the Harlingen-Brownsville area. although it had tweaked down some. But again, our economic development here in the city of Brownsville is really wanting. I mean, really, really wanting compared to other cities, even here in the valley. We're really, really wanting. And I always make the comparison. I always want to compare Harlingen to Brownsville. That Brownsville seems to be stagnant, while Harlingen seems, sorry, McAllen seems to be thriving. And I always get the same thing. Well, there's a lot of more cities there, Monterrey. Yeah, but we have resources that any city in the country would die for. I mean, we have a port, we have beaches, we have a zoo, we have downtown that has as historical. We have a university, we have a junior college, we have 3 bridges. Now we have SpaceX, whatever that actually means for the city of Brownsville, but we have it. I mean, why are we so stagnant, Carlos, in regards to economic development here in the city of Brownsville?
I've heard those arguments for I don't know how many decades about McAllen, Hidalgo. I said, first of all, I never believed that we should be competing with other areas. I've said this before, that Cameron and Brownsville, we need to find our, you mentioned a few things. What is our niche? What is it? We can't be all things to all people. So what is Brownsville's niche? What is it that is going to attract people, to our community? When I was secretary, and I did 142 cities while I was secretary, visiting, and they all had the same challenges, economic development, job creation. And what I would tell them is that, what I found when I would talk to entrepreneurs, and I talked to them all over the state and as far north as Canada and in Mexico, what is it that they're looking for? They're looking at healthcare. They're looking at the quality of our educational system. They're looking at infrastructure. They're looking at a strong labor force. So if we don't have all those components, it's going to be very, very difficult. I know the Hidalgo County was making a push for Tesla. Cameron never said a word.
Nada.
And we already had a basic fundamental footprint with SpaceX. And Cameron never said a word. And I was just sitting back, okay, let's say something at a minimum.
Something.
Go to Hidalgo and say, look, we'll help you get it, but it's got to be over here. If you remember what happened, the battle with UTRGV.
Oh yeah.
At the time, I said, look, to me, we cannot be speaking out of two sides of our mouths. We're either going to work as a region or we're not. And what I've heard many times was, we will work as a region as long as it's in my backyard. And we could be the they did that with the merging of the MPOs, and there was a big fight over who. We have to recognize that Hidalgo County is twice as big as Cameron. It's like having, let's say, Willacy County try to say, well, we want to be treated equally as Cameron. No, we have to recognize Hidalgo County has got twice the population,
yes,
twice the infrastructure, twice the revenues that come in, and we're not top dog. As much as our egos may tell us that we should be the top dog, we're not.
We're not.
Hidalgo County is the top dog. That's where even Republican elected officials, whether it's from the senator's office or the governor's office, wherever, they'll come to Cameron. They may raise, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. They go to Hidalgo and they'll raise $200,000. They go where the money's at. And so instead of trying to compete with Hidalgo, we need to do a better job of working with Hidalgo.
Yes.
And, but time will tell, guys.
Well, it did take forever to get that MPO going. Let me tell you, I mean, we lost out on millions and millions and millions of dollars. And it was like, well, I don't want to give my little scepter away.
Let me tell you what happened. I will tell you, because I was secretary at the time when we were talking about the MPO mergers, and the city of Brownsville did not want to participate with the MPO.
Craziness.
Was ready to go. Harlingen was kind of like, teetering back and forth. Brownsville at the time did not want to do it for fear of losing their seats at the table and the power.
Yes.
So I finally suggested to the TxDOT chairman, Tyron Lewis, good friend, I said, if Brownsville does not want to come on board, carve them out. And I hated to do that to my own hometown, but I said, carve them out. And what we do is let's bring in the Laguna Madre area. Let's bring South Padre Island, the Laguna Madre area, Los Fresnos, Laguna Vista, Bayview. Let's move into Willacy and go up to Star. And and then we form one MPO and let Brownsville fend for themselves. Well, it didn't happen. At the end of the day, Brownsville finally came to the table, but it was the fear of getting carved out of the whole process.
Well, yeah, and I mean, very well so, and it was very, very unfortunate. But one of the things that really ticks me off that a lot of people here didn't really realize, because nobody was out there saying it, didn't realize how much money we were actually going to lose because of estos cabezones, these people that were so self-centered. We're going to go into other topics, and I know that we have a short time. Mr. Cascos, any announcements that we need to make in regards to some of the run that's going on throughout town?
I mean, I'm looking forward to Monday Night Football, just like you guys are. Yeah, that's the only announcement that I want to make.
Well, there won't be no football. Carlos, we appreciate you being here with us. We're going to stay on a little bit longer to go into other matters, but any final words for the people of Cameron County, Brownsville, Texas?
Just stay safe, stay healthy, do the right thing, be responsible, take care of your family. This will pass and we shall overcome it. We will get by it. And I just want to wish everybody well out there, and don't lose faith. We need a lot of prayers, a lot of help. And just, keep the faith. That's all I can tell you.
Well, we do appreciate you, former state of Texas Secretary of State. Thank you so very much for everything that you continue to do for the community, that you continue to do. I mean, one of the things that sets individuals apart is, not that people are out there taking pictures of them, a picture moment, but, outside of the limelight, once you step away from public service, and you're out there and you're still helping the community. And that's one thing I could surely say about Carlos Cascos. Carlos Cascos, thank you so much. God bless. And please come back. Please come back soon.
Anytime you invite me, I'll be around.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much. And it was an honor to have former Secretary of State Carlos Cascos here with us. And I greatly appreciate, again, his time. Again, a very busy man, but we're glad that he gave us 45 minutes. One of the other topics there that we're going to talk about is BISD. BISD. And yes, anything in regards to the compensation plan. Guys, for everyone out there that, is very, very patient in regards to speaking about BISD, I greatly appreciate it. I am not surprised. I am not surprised with the mishandlings of this school board. Is anyone out there surprised at all the bull crap that they're throwing down our way? I mean, it's like the band directors were like exploding my phone today. Exploding. Like, what the heck is going on? Well, yeah, they give us a $1.50 raise, but they reduced our hours to where we're going to be losing $5,000 to $10,000 a year. So you see how they do that little shift. That little shift, like, oh, you're getting a raise, but we're taking away $5,000 from you. You're getting a little raise because they want you to do the squirrel thing. They want you to look, a raise, and you like, oh, a raise. We're getting a raise, and then they let you have it from the back, and that's what happened. But what happens? When we start communicating, folks, when we start talking amongst ourselves, when we start sharing information and we start levantando fuego, we start building the fire and it starts to grow and grow, and we start talking about it on my page, guess what happens? They start listening and they go like, oh, and I told the band members, I said, no, don't worry. I've gotten assurances that they're going to go back and look at it, but we want assurances that are in writing, because I, as well as most of the band directors out there and most of the teachers out there, do not believe anything that comes out of the word of this corrupt, stupid superintendent and this corrupt school board? Nothing. Because do you know when they're lying? They're lying when they start moving their lips. These lips right there. That's when they start lying. And they lied. They tried to pull a fast one on the staff of BISD. A fast one. What would have happened, guys? Band directors, you know what would have happened. BISD, what would have happened? What would have happened if band directors hadn't have caught it in regards to the compensation plan? You think they would have corrected it later on? No. You would have gotten screwed. Screwed. Because they don't care. They don't care. And no, now they're going to take care of it. But why does it always have to be that it has to be plastered on my page before they opt to lift a finger to help the community? Why? And you know what? And this is part of my issue that I have with a lot of the individuals out there, because I got flack today from from someone, and they said, "Well, Erasmo, he's negative." Shut up, negative. Go on to the other pages, negative. JJ Barron, kids have a choice to go or not to go. Yeah. Who bought in Titan Titers? I think it was GBIC. I'm thinking.
And as well, is this just band, or is it choir, or all of fine arts that will be affected by this new contract or implementation of BISD?
No, as of right now, the only thing that we've learned was that band is going to get screwed. Coaches are going to lose their stipends, and it's not a good thing. Someone other was going to get screwed. Someone please remind me. I can't remember the other group that was going to get screwed.
Choir?
I haven't heard from my choir directors. Again, it might be choir as well. I just haven't heard from them. But guys, think about it. It makes sense. And we've been talking about this for weeks already. We've made sense because, again, we don't just study what's going on here. We study what's going around throughout the country. And I've shared articles where other school districts have basically said that they're going to do away with this next school year with fine arts and with PE. Do away with fine arts and PE. And guess what? That's what they're going to do. Yes, that's the other one. Teachers with seniority. Teachers with seniority are going to get screwed. Screwed! Royally! The new compensation plan stops at 30 years, while the current compensation plan ends at 35 years.
This goes to back what you were saying, Erasmo. They're trying to force these teachers out because if in the compensation plan, if these teachers are maxed out and they're not able to get any more raises, well, it kind of defeats the. It sounds bad, but it kind of defeats the purpose of keep working for so long if you're not getting rewarded for it. So this could possibly be a way for the district to slowly but surely get rid of these teachers. Now, is this the superintendent's way of having his deputies of cutting budgets? ROTC is another avenue that they're looking into. But if the compensation plan is not out, we have yet to verify this. So again, we understand that the district is going through a lot of budget cuts from the state. So they have to trim that fat, so to speak. So again, it goes back to show you back in March and Erasmo back in April when they had that simulated town hall, when the board president assured everybody that nobody was going to lose their job, that everybody was going to be working and everything was going to be A-okay. We just needed to get over this hump. But once again, that lack of leadership, of accountability, of transparency is finally coming back and biting them in the butt. So this issue is a total mess, Erasmo, and I hate to say this, but it makes the board look very, very bad.
Well, the issue with ROTC is that they have very little control in regards to ROTC because ROTC is actually paid through a grant that's provided by the U.S. Army. I'm actually going to get confirmation from the individuals out at the Army in regards to this. They can't touch it. They should know better. But again, It just makes sense. It makes sense to them because they don't care that band directors are going to lose $5,000 to $10,000. They don't care. They don't care that PE coaches are just coaches, defensive and offensive coaches are going to lose their their stipend. They don't care, and the stipends actually make up a 20 to 25% part of their yearly amount that they receive in regards to payment. It's madness. I'm sorry, guys. If you have a car payment, might have to skip the car payment in order to put food on the table. But you know who is not getting cut? You know who's not getting less hours of work, therefore less contract? You don't see Gutierrez taking a pay cut. You don't see the superintendent, giving in a part of his $400,000 a year check. You don't see him trying to, attrition. Let's get rid of or two of the deputies out there. Not a one. You think the area administrators? You think they're afraid for their job? Not a chance. Not a chance. Do you think my bus drivers? Do you think my substitutes, my paraprofessionals? Do you think my teachers are questioning? Our band directors are questioning the monies that are going their way? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. The only ones who are not questioning their money are the ones that are making over $100,000 a year. $100,000 a year to start off with. And that includes a lot of the vendors out there. Think about the board attorney. The board attorney makes $320,000 a year. For what? For what? So that Sylvia could continue to pocket her money? Sylvia? So that Sylvia could continue to pocket your children's money? Really? Really?
Erasmo, in regards to this, they were trying their best to cut the days from 205 to 187. They were trying to cut the assistants from both choir and band. They were going to have either one choir director or two band members out of a job. And we have to remember, Erasmo, that in these programs, there's over 400 students. So as of right now, that's something that they're looking at. But again, the board, and this is very crucial for us to realize, the board is the one who evaluates the superintendent. I'm a big believer in not micromanaging. The board members should not micromanage the superintendent. But here goes the but. But whenever the superintendent does not do a job that is adequately being represented as to the teachers and to the district, that is when the board needs to step in. So the board, Erasmo, evaluates the superintendent. Why are they not correcting this behavior from the superintendent? It's creating a lot of chaos, Erasmo. We have yet to hear about a calendar. So we have no direction as to how next year is going to look like. Of course, we have options and things like that, but nothing with certainty. So message, we cannot afford to have a dysfunctional district. Erasmo, BISD, the city of Brownsville, we have said it here time and time again. It is the largest district south of San Antonio. But you know what? Places like Los Fresnos, Harlingen, they have what it takes. And and I hate to say this, but I feel like if this district, BISD, is being the laughing stock of the valley, and this is not a good time to affect the people. We're going through a pandemic, we're going through a crisis, and now we're talking about cutting jobs. But you didn't hear from BISD. Unfortunately, you heard it from Erasmo Castro and his show, which goes to show you guys that they're not in it for the teachers. They're not in it for our community. And that really bothers me, Erasmo.
Well, one of the things in regards to the school board money shuffle dance, David, I'm going to say this again. That meeting when they talked about termination, about letting go of staff, little Eddie was out there. Yeah, nobody's going to get cut, right? Right? Nobody's going to lose their job. And Minerva, la estúpida, the stupid de Minerva, no one's going to lose their job. No one's going to lose their job. The superintendent. And I told people, listen to his words. Not right now. That's what he said. Not right now. No one's going to lose their job. Not at this moment. What does that mean? What does that mean? That right then and there, nobody was going to lose your job. But tomorrow, that's why we all need to vote for Erasmo. Love you, Araceli. Margaret Baron, yes, I know, but they forced my parents and accidentally get sick. Not a good thing. Well, parents should force them and then blame someone else. They need to Take their choice. Make their choice. Yeah. Shady BISD board member, they're corrupt. Corrupt. There's a BISD board meeting on Thursday at 3 p.m. Well, I'm hoping that a part of what's going to be on there, again, it should be out there. The board agenda should be out there within 72 hours. If it's going to be at 3 p.m., did it get posted? Was it today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Again, we'll see what's on the board agenda. Hola. The Hawk, only band directors. That's not a good thing. RTC. I'm not really into politics and controversies yet. I don't know what within a city there are more in common people to get together and raise an opinion than the city to be about it. I think so. RTC, not choir. No, us choir people are worried too. I think everybody should be worried. Nobody bought Titan Towers. They're still there. Just 2 other companies are leasing space there, which is BCIC.
Yeah.
What White Lives Matter too? Yeah, Michael Hallman.
Hey, Michael.
White Lives Matter too. New hires are cheaper. That's part of the issue. It's better stay at 35. I get screwed either way. I have 36 years. Offer me 10,000. I'll retire. Don't go.
Don't go. Erasmo, and one thing that bothers me is, they talk about transparency. They talk about always reaching out. They talk about, you had mentioned previously in regards to the raise, we're going to give, people this raises, but then we're going to take away the money from other, from these band directors and from these choir directors. Were band directors, what they brought in and did they speak to them about this? Was there a survey given? Or was it just a slap in the face and be like, oh, there you go? Again, how can we look the voters in the eyes and say, I'm doing what is best for you and your family? All the fine arts program. How do you feel that you're being treated this way? Again, I believe in BISD, but it's unfortunate that people in leadership roles have not taken into account, or it seems like if they're out of tune with reality, maybe because we're real top heavy and a lot of people make 100K, that to them it's like, oh well, if the Darwinism, survival of the fittest, either you got it or you don't. We shouldn't have that mentality. Right now is not the time to be cutting. And I understand, we have a lot of budget deficits from the state, but we cannot do this to our fine arts program. I would hope that we would have a better dialogue with our fine arts program, with our band, with our choir, even with our ROTC staff. That way we can have a dialogue, not just throw it in their face and say, hey, it is what it is. And, no one deserves to be treated that way. But this is the reality, unfortunately, that many staff members are dealing with at the school district.
Well, it's not a good thing. Again, on Thursday, the board meeting, they will be approving the recommended approval of the proposed employee compensation plan. There's no backup, so we don't have no idea what they're talking about. In regards to what the plan is, but we did receive a plan, the budget, and also the calendar. So we'll see what happens in regards to the calendar out there. Again, I don't know when are they going to end in regards to teachers being able to vote on them. Just don't know. Besides that, they're going to renew the insurance consultant for Valley Risk Consulting of McAllen. We already knew that was going to happen because Dustin cannot do his job. The guy, the Edinburgh buddy that they brought in from employee benefits, can't do his damn job. They already upped his salary up to $100,000, $90,000 in order to do the job, but for some reason can't seem to do the job. So they're going to have to spend another $62,600 for Valley Risk Consulting to do consulting work for the insurance. Why? That's why they hired an employee benefits director.
That's crazy.
You're going to throw away $60,000. It's madness. Everything is just pretty general.
But this goes to show you, Erasmo, the mismanagement by the board. Again, how can we be dishing out cash just like if it's like if it's nothing. Again, I'll bring up the GED programs. This is something that we could do in house. We want to prevent teachers from losing their jobs. We should have tried and kept that $170,000 within BISD and not dish it out. Again, right now is not the time to be spending money. And why are we going to give a consulting fee? Don't we have a job? Don't we have somebody already on our payroll for that? So again, if the person at the helm is not doing their job, in the business scenery, they would be fired. And we should have that same mentality. Hey, why am I going to be paying somebody else for be doing your job? So again, this is mismanagement by the board. We should be responsible with our money. Right now is not the time to be spending, in my opinion.
You want to cut students from attending class, then they will cut teachers. I don't think anybody wants to cut students. I think we've got to start to become a little bit creative in regards to how we're going to educate our students. And by that, I mean, let's start offering online classes, with something that should have been done a long, long time ago. And it's like, it's just progress, bro. I mean, look at Walmart. Do you remember how many times we would say that ultimately they're going to come in and take all the cashiers' jobs? Well, guess what? That's exactly what they're going to do, but it's progress. Doesn't mean that these people won't be needed. I mean, they might be needed for other positions. Guys, the same thing's happening here. I mean, it's just the way of the future. We just have to start offering online classes a little bit more. Now, I think Ronnie made mention in regards to Diego. What's up, my man? Ronnie made mention in regards to the Rock. I am sick and tired of crazy people coming into this town and having their way. Crazy people. We have our own crazy people here. We have our own nuts. We like our nuts. I like my nuts. We like them all. All of them. We don't need new nuts coming in from out of town. Keep your nuts. Don't send them our way. We don't want them shoved in our face. We do not. Keep your nuts in your own towns. We have enough. Guys, desecration of a World War II memorial. That's what, that's where it's going, guys. And again, anyone out there that goes to church, you be careful, guys. Be careful. Your churches are next. Your churches are next. You don't believe me? I mean, it's happened throughout the world before. We gave up the Rock. Now they want Robert E. Lee Youth Center. Then they're going to want to destroy the Charles Stillman House, which I really don't care about anyway. And then they're going to want to rename, consultant is good buddies with the incumbent and will help ensure things. Hiring a consultant is part of the scam. 100% it is part of the scam. 100%. I've talked about that. I'll continue to talk about it this week. Guys.
So they're using the budget money, Erasmo. They're using the budget's money to help out their buddies for campaign contributions potentially.
The BSC doesn't board care. I did, Diego. We've been having dysfunctional district. It's very true. Great point, Maggie. Finally. Sepa la bola, Ruben. Money laundering. Yes. 8 numbers? No numbers yet. Let me check again. They're not going to come out till after 10 o'clock, I bet you, any. Or it's 10 o'clock right now. Nada. Sorry, guys. No teacher, no student. No students, no school. Take care of our teachers. 100%. Not right now, but later. Later. I think somebody else is running. I have my tickets. Awesome. Erasmo, have you tried your scooter on the freeway? No, I think that's illegal. Exactly, Reload. You're right. Hi, Rock. Hey, Adrian. I want some barbacoa. Insurance consultant has capped at 25,000. With Atkinson, it was raised to 62. Hey, Sylvia keeps on taking care of her people. She's in charge of the damn board. I graduated 4 years ago. Love you, Nayeli. Yes, I believe BNSD. Teachers are great. Teachers are the best, guys. Let me tell you, don't confuse stuff out there. We have the best, and my teachers will affirm what I'm saying. We have the best teachers in the world. Teachers are amazing. The counselors are amazing. Our food service people are amazing. Drew recommended Whittemore. Whittemore recommended consultant, and the scam continues. 100%, bro. Guys, we have amazing teachers. It's the board that sucks. They're corrupt. They put money in Sylvia's pocket. They're controlled by Baltasar Salazar and by Sylvia Atkinson. Controlled. Sylvia's still in control. 100%. Yes. It's Sylvia! BISD was and is still a joke. The top part, teachers are amazing. That 2020. Love you. They take care of the people. They screw everybody else 100%. Something else I want to say. Educate. Oh, yeah. Stillman Middle School. You know, a new name for Stillman Middle School, Erasmo Middle School. I'll be okay with that. Can we get an agenda for the Thursday board meeting? Is it on the website? Yes, it is, Gonzalo. All right, go check it out. I just saw it right now. Teachers.
Erasmo numbers are out. Give me a second.
Numbers are out. I still don't see them on their site. If you can send them to me, cool. Insurance administrator is buddy with superintendents, not qualified, lacks experience and the license. That's why they need a consultant. Crazy. Oldies. We have mere phases, Hispanic. Crazy. These nuts. Preach. Sick and tired of these crazy outsiders who want to destroy our history. I can't stand them. Online teaching can be done without teachers. They can make CBT type classes that do not require teachers. We're always going to need teachers. You're just trying to scare people, Rodney. Love you. We cannot promote home teaching. Well, we're going to have to do it. Love you. Invite me for carne asada. I just read that the Eskimo ice cream company is changing the. Isn't that crazy? No more Eskimo ice cream. What are they going to call it? Koala ice cream? Koala? Like the paste koalas? Porter pandas? Snowflakes! Song King of BLM already declared war on churches. 100%. They're coming for your churches, guys. And let me tell you, I will kick anyone's buttocks. You see, I didn't say butt. I'll kill anyone's buttocks that comes and tries to desecrate our churches. Is Heather around to update us? He'll be here on Thursday, I think. I don't remember. Numbers are out.
I just sent it to you. Crazy numbers, guys.
County has 101 cases.
Wow.
Brownsville has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. 50 for Brownsville.
A 3-month-old, Erasmo.
A 3-month-old. 50 positives for Brownsville.
Crazy.
101. Crazy, Dorian. Just watching the news right now.
Again, Hidalgo County reported 193 with 1 death. And how many deaths did we have at Erasmo? 1? With 1 death from Spanish Meadows Nursing Home, an 88-year-old. So that raises the total to 49 deaths. A 6-day-old Erasmo from Indian Lake. Wow. A 6-day-old male from Indian Lake tested positive. And again, we just heard from you posted it, Erasmo, in regards to that the young female that died, and I believe her baby died as well, or did the baby survive?
Oh, the baby survived.
The baby survived. So again, guys, we have a 6-day-old male from Indian Lake that tested positive, and the city of Brownsville has a 3-month-old. So it's very alarming. Again, Hidalgo County is at 193 with 1 death. Cameron County today had 101 cases with 1 death. and it's very it's crazy. It's unheard of. A 6-day-old. It's getting very scary, guys.
And again, they still haven't mentioned the numbers correctly in regards
Fox.
to Fox. They haven't updated. We have 20. I can't really keep 28 for Fox, I think already, and 25, 25 and 28. And we have 2 deaths today, one the other day. So we're talking about 3 deaths. We're only reporting 2 as of right now. I mean, that's an issue, guys. But again, we'll talk about that tomorrow morning because it's already late. But the numbers are horrible. We have 53 detainees who have tested positive from Port Isabel Service Processing Center. Again, that's going to go up. I'm going to say there's 100 of those, maybe, because again, the county is very slow in reporting. Alta Vista has been mentioned. 1 in 3. No other ones from Brownsville are on here, but I've heard of at least 2 more nursing homes. They're going to have some positives out there. Not going to be good.
Scary, scary numbers. But again, let's try our best, guys, to practice social distancing. I know many people have been, giving us some slack for scaring the community. Our job or our objective is to inform and keep our community, up to date with everything that's going on. Lately, it's been nothing but COVID. But we have seen based on the numbers that we're not. We're not following these recommendations, and because of the protesting, the beaches opening up, Memorial Day, graduation, Erasmo, we still have yet to get the numbers from the protesting, which is they're going to come up within a week or so. So again, our nursing homes are being affected. This is a public health risk, in my opinion. I know other people's, don't feel the same, but I think we have an outbreak in our hands, according to Dr. Mario Cerdan, who will be with us tomorrow night to discuss the latest spike in numbers. So let's try our best to be safe out there, guys.
Actually, an infant died on Thursday, Rodney. So, yeah, and a 21-year-old mother died on Sunday. So, children are dying. It's just they're not being reported fast enough. That's part of the problem. But they put Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley back on METV, so all's good. Oh, I love Laverne and Shirley. Mazel Tov Incorporated. We're gonna do it. I keep saying it, but ridiculous me. Then when I do, it's a numbers game. I'm going to disagree, my man. I love you to death. You know that I love you to death. I'm just going to disagree. I think we have to throw caution to the wind and make sure that a lot of individuals are up to date. Anonymous, please. Several cases of COVID in Brownsville post office. It's kind of hard for it to be anonymous when you posted it on the thread, mi amor. Sorry. Yeah, they keep trying to hush it because fear of staff. Everyone needs to stay safe. Yes, Brownsville post office COVID positives. Sorry. 4th of July, around the corner, more get together. It's crazy. Is only COVID because you don't focus on anything else? Well, I mean, I just haven't heard anybody dying from the flu here. Sorry. And if someone had died from the flu, I would surely be out there saying it. People don't care. 60 or 17 dead in Brownsville, correct? No. I think we're up to 30 already. Plus, understand that, Manny, that we're not getting the numbers right. They're not reporting all the numbers. They're not coming in right. I mean, I had a friend of mine died just right now. I don't know if it was from corona virus, but I'm going to find out. My prayers out there for the family. I mean, my prayers out for the family. I don't know. What happened to all those people that would always focus on the recovery numbers? Yeah, we don't know what that means. Again, I'm going to say what I've always said. We just don't know what that means. Several cases of COVID at Brownsville Post Office, that they're trying to keep it hush-hush.
Erasmo, I'm reaching out. I will be reaching out to a doctor in Weslaco. She tested positive back in March or April when this whole COVID thing started, the shelter in place and everything. She tested positive, Erasmo, and then she, recovered, so to speak. And then guess what? Last week she tested positive once again. I'm reaching out to her. I'm hoping she would, come on the show just to give us her story and her recommendation. So, at first people were saying, oh, y'all are talking about the recovered. But I have seen and I have known about a doctor in Weslaco who tested positive twice within a span of 2-3 months. So again, we don't really know what recovered really means. So it's a scary world out there, guys.
And again, guys, if you go out, look at the list of numbers, it is scary because they're not, Gonzalo. They're not making look at the list. They're jam-packed with 20-year-olds. Mall is infected. I wouldn't doubt it. Why is the city calling people that are positive to clear them without a second test? People are still have symptoms. Seem like the city just wants to bear their number. That would be very, very responsible. Several recovered, get it again. That seems to be the case, unfortunately. Silver alert in Tulsa. Not a good thing. What about the other nursing homes here in Brownsville? They still have yet to report them, but I know which ones you're talking about. I've received the same information in regards to those other nursing homes. And again, nothing. Highest numbers yet, 101 cases, 52. 52 from Brownsville?
I need a count just to double check.
Doreen, did you count well? Because I counted 50, but I'm horrible at math. Someone count them, please. 1 million people missing. I read an article that said that studies are showing that people who get COVID, the antibodies don't last long in the system. It's madness. Okay, guys, but all those positives and the small number of that. We'll ask the doctor tomorrow, bro. Again, I'm concerned, bro. I'm concerned. I think we're too new into it to actually find out.
52. 52, she's right.
52 in Brownsville. Doreen, you can count, my girl. 52 in Brownsville. Doreen, please let your husband back in the house.
Please.
Please, Doreen. Please. You know how bad Harlingen is. You don't want him out there on Harlingen streets, El Rancho de Harlingen. Let him back in your house, Doreen. Doreen, let him back in your house. BA needs to replace their board members. Yes, we need to, Jake. Love you. 49 deaths in Cameron County. Thank you, Linda. What was outcome of the trial on Friday? It was just setting dates. So they had just set dates for the upcoming trials in June, July. Guys, saludos al primo Javi.
Hey, Javi, a los Sotuyo boys. Hey, Sotuyo boys.
Saludos, Tony. Swah, swah. Guys, it is our time. Frankie, last words.
It's very alarming. Once again, Hidalgo 193, Cameron County 101. We each had a death. We're at 49 deaths for the county. Tomorrow, again, we will have Dr. Mario Cerdan on to talk about symptoms, to talk about the recent spike in numbers. 4th of July is coming around. We could ask him recommendations as to what we should and shouldn't do. In regards to the compensation plan, it's unfortunate that we have to hear from Erasmo Castro and not from the horse's mouth, so to speak, being BISD. We should have that open dialogue with our elected officials and our leadership, but it is apparent that we don't have that currently at the school district. And one thing that bothers me is that teachers, people in the fine arts department, in ROTC, they're afraid to come on here because they are being watched by administrators. We even got word that the superintendent created a fake account to watch Brownsville Talk and keep up with it. Administrators are reprimanding staff and saying, hey, you better not comment on the show. We will continue to be your voice, guys. We want y'all to know that we share your concerns. We understand the sentiment that you are going through. This is very troubling that leadership is not in tune with what's going on. Is it that they don't care that you could have a job because the contract and the language in the contract says so, that you could possibly be at will? So again, we share the concerns that BISD have, employees have, but who are afraid to comment on this show. So we appreciate everybody who reaches out to us and just says, hey, can you bring this up? We will continue to be your voice because the people that we have in leadership are not doing that for us. Thank you guys so much for your patience. We have a great lineup. Once again, thank you to Carlos Cascos for his time. It's very important for us to hear from leadership within our community, especially someone who's been at the state and county level. We got a great lineup all this week. I'm super excited. We always try to give a variety of individuals within our community to talk and have an open dialogue with our community. So thank you guys once again for your patience. See you guys tomorrow with Erasmo at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Hey, God, I love you. Guys, just to report, Matamoros, 897 infections, 66 deaths. Wow. Reynosa, 927 infections, 77 deaths. New infections, 101 in Cameron County. Total 1,647. One new death, 88-year-old man. Total deaths, 49. That's not counting the ones that we already know about. Again, recovery, 1,000. Guys, not enough. We still don't know what that means. Parents not going to send their kids back to school? I don't think so. I mean, a lot of people will. Erasmo for mayor, love you. Frankie for mayor, better not run against me. The leaders can isolate in their offices. They're throwing us to the lions. They surely are, me too. And that's just very unfortunate. Violating freedom of speech, guys. Not tell you not to comment on your show. Preach, guys. Keep up the good work. And scream. Love you. I know kids should be sent to school and stand as they shouldn't be exposed. No, not. Good night. Erasmo for share. Preach. I mean, look at the guys that are running right now. When is Idea going to be on?
Thursday.
Reynolds is loading bodies into refrigerator trucks like Brooklyn. No sleep in Brooklyn. Guys, have a great evening. God bless. Take care. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. in the morning. See you here. Don't be steer.
Don't be late.
Love you. 9 a.m. in the morning. Love y'all.